Hey everyone, it's the Miserable Movie Man back once again with another video. So the episodes of Andor are dropping thick and fast, and I think it is starting to divide a few folks. I did a review which I'll link now and put in the description of the first 3 episodes, which of course I didn't really like. I think I'm one of the few people that was not a fan of season 1, but I wanted to give season 2 a chance, and this is my review of episodes 4 to 6 of Andor season 2. Now let's start with something that has been quite a common topic of conversation for Andor season 2. I know it is world building. I know that they're focusing on characters significantly, and I know they're trying to show all of the details and minutiae of their life in the Star Wars universe to really give more a sense of understanding and character development. And I get all that. It just doesn't work for me. I think if you want to do character-driven shows, have a character-driven universe. Have something where, it is high drama and a show where the sort of character backgrounds, motivations, drivers, machinations all work together for a very compelling show. Now, you can cite any number of shows that accomplish this. The Wire, Sopranos, West Wing. I mean, even though I was not a fan, there was some reasonable character development in the Battlestar Galactica remake. But in Star Wars, it's getting too much for me. Like the first episode was really focused on Andor and Bix living on Coruscant. I don't need to see how their lives are. I don't need to see them cooking food in microwaves. I don't need to see them going to the grocery store and shopping. And can I just say, have the developers and creators given up on Star Wars? And when you watch the original trilogy and the prequels, other than really, I would say, Naboo and maybe that table and apartment that Padme has, and of course the diner for Dex Jester, but that was an homage to American Graffiti and way out of place. Everything in Star Wars to me looks like it's from another universe, a galaxy far, far away. It doesn't look remotely similar to a lot of stuff that we have in our world. But it seems now, at least in Andor Season 2, every scene, every building, every flat, every accommodation, every apartment, every area they're in looks so similar to our own world, with just maybe a few futuristic design touches thrown in there. And that, to me, just throws me out of my suspension of disbelief, throws me out of believing this is a Star Wars universe. I ranted about that a little bit in Andor Season 1, but I do think generally Andor Season 1 did a better job of it than Season 2. But again, having dinner, buying some wine, having some coffee, eating some breakfast cereal, these are not things that I want to see in the Star Wars universe or even associate with the Star Wars universe. So, I mean, episode 4, really of just seeing Andor and Bix kind of live their life, buy their shopping and try and stay underground is not enjoyable for me. Bix being a drug addict, I mean, who cares? They're going to show her Bix is not a character that I care enough about to watch this descent and think, oh, this is going to be crazy, I don't want to see it, it's going to hit me hard. No, really don't give a crap. Then, we have Gorman, which is 1940s France and French resistance under the German occupation or the German Nazis. It's so eerily similar to Nazis and French resistance and France. I mean, the language sounds French. It was known for its high fashion. People flocked to the city of culture. Everyone's wearing bloody berets. People are trying to figure out how to create a resistance movement. It's just too on the nose. I know Lucas was influenced by the rise of Hitler and the rise of fascism, but it's too on the nose for me. If you watch this in black and white, other than maybe a few things of sort of anti-grav vehicles other than that, you watch this in black and white, you may not be able to tell whether this is Star Wars or something that was shot in the 1940s. That's how similar it is. It's quite worrying. And then we have the third plot of Luthen and the bug, and what's going on. It's not that tense for me, and what happens with Luthen is going to be interesting, but then having them listen in and figure out what's going on, and then having to create some kind of tense mission to remove the bug. Meh. It's like, yeah, okay, whatever. And the buildings and the weather on Coruscant is so different to what we saw in the prequels. Like, I know when you saw the lower levels and the sort of underworld area is quite different, right? But it's very neon and sleazy and run down and stuff. But a lot of times, to me, where Andor and Bix are staying and hanging out, just looks like a drab day in East London or hanging out in South London at the Battersea Power Station. It really doesn't give me any Star Wars vibes at all. And even the spaceport, it just looks too much like one of our own airports. Everything is just too crazily similar to our world. Look at the butler and the bellhop in the hotel. The outfit is the same. Why would you even have a humanoid walking up with luggage and stuff? Surely you'd have droids doing it. It's just touches like this just disappoint me. Because I think the characters are interesting, but not to a degree that I care so much about them. And clearly the writers and the creators want to spend all their time on the characters. So the one interesting element for me in this show is Saw Gerrera and his rhydonium abuse. Some compound that you shouldn't inhale, and he inhales it, and it makes him a little bit crazy, and he's a bit addicted to it. I think Saw Gerrera and his rebels, even though, is that a Wampa that he has walking around with him in his gang? And if it is a Wampa, why is a Wampa walking around with him in his gang? But, that element of Saw and having to do all of the calculations for the rhydonium, that is a little bit more Star Wars-esque to me than anything else. And that was interesting to watch, to see how Saw was on edge and to see the tension in some of those scenes. That was pretty good, but that's the only bit that sort of keeps my attention. Even when I see Mon Mothma go to all of these balls and these galas, I don't need to see that in Star Wars. We saw a really bad version of it in Canto Bight. And then, the mystery and intrigue of trying to remove the bug, and Krennic, who is quoting Earth songs. I think he quotes a Cole Porter song in it. So now that they're adding swear words and quoting Earth songs, and everyone looks like they're dressed from our clothes, but maybe 50 years in the future, and every aspect of the background and sets and dwellings and everything looks too much like ours. Is this Star Wars? Is this the Star Wars I grew up with? Is this Star Wars of the original trilogy where everything was alien and different and cool, and even the prequels went out of their way to make things, visibly different to everything? This is just weak to me. And as I said before, if it was done in a way with characters that I cared about, and done in a way that built things up with real tension, then I think it'll be good. I mean, just going back to the heist, again, we've got another bloody heist, which of course goes wrong. And that Cinta's going to die when she says, "Oh, I'll tell you later." Anytime a character says, "Oh, I'll tell you later," they're not going to tell them later. They're going to die, right? So having her die from a stray blaster from that Muppet guy who brought the blaster, and the old guy that came over to find out what's going on, and how that blaster managed to hit her, I don't know. It's ridiculous. It's just too much jumping the shark. It wasn't at a level where I thought of any believability. It's just to create tension by killing off a character to make other characters sad and have some speeches. Doesn't make sense in the context of the film. Doesn't make sense in the context of the show. And was just... It was really shoehorned in. I mean, it's just too obvious and ridiculous to really have any major impact on me, at least as a viewer. Where they'll go from here with the Gorman massacre, even though they mention the Gorman massacre, is there going to be another one when the Empire comes down on them? Cyril just hanging out in some robes looking like some really bad ninja. Really don't care about that. And then the Good Morning show, Good Morning Coruscant, with Ruby Wax doing two people that are just like, you want to do a Good Morning show and throw it into Star Wars? I mean, come on, people. Try harder. I don't want to see a Good Morning show with two caricature ladies that look like the Good Morning shows of old, or using the name of current Good Morning shows. Just ridiculous. I do like some of the hand signals or hand gestures they've got on Gorman. I think that he's coming up with that element of culture. Shows a little bit more thought. But again, I mean, the language sounds French, the clothes look French. Even the cafes and everything look really retro, Art Deco, 1940s, as I said. So whoever I think the writer, was it Beau Willimon, has done a few shows, but does he know that it's going for this 1940s French resistance thing? Again, interesting choices, but not my Star Wars. I think the next episodes are dropping tonight in the US, so I may have them my evening time here in Hong Kong. I really hope they start picking up the pace. I really hope they start bringing more interesting things in. I don't mind them switching actor for Bail Organa. If Jimmy Smits can't make it, they can get somebody else, but it is a shame. I love Jimmy Smits as an actor. I think he's great. But let's see where they go with Bail. Clearly, at some point, Bail and Mon and Saw and Luthen are going to all have to get together, figure out how they're going to forge this rebel alliance. And speaking of Luthen, I'll end on that note. I like the fact they're keeping Luthen's character a bit of a, hard case, a bit of a badass, someone who doesn't really care about people and is just manipulating everyone. Of course, when you're creating a rebellion, you're going to have to make tough decisions, but the whole point of rebelling against the Empire is they're evil and they do evil things and they don't care about people. I wonder if Luthen's going to look in the mirror and realize that he's slowly becoming the things that he despises, but I think he's too blinded by his hatred for the Empire. So that would be an interesting character arc for him. I still enjoy seeing Luthen on screen, and probably Saw, as I said. But everyone else, I don't care really what they say or what they do. It's not capturing me. It's not riveting to me. It's not interesting to me. But let's see what episodes 7, 8, and 9 have. So that's it. That's my review of episodes 4 to 6. Please like, share, and subscribe to help support the channel as always. And catch you next time.